Hello, BookTube. This is a bookshelf tour of the fourth bookcase, the long wall bookcase. It's the top shelf, the shelf that runs across the top where the art and architecture books are. And this looks like it's going to be the end of that series of videos. It's number 11 to get through the top there. So let me move right on. So here is a book that I've read actually just recently. Ascending Peculiarity, Edward Gorey and on Edward Gorey, interview selected and edited by Karen Wilkin. I love Gorey stuff. Those of you who watch Mystery over the years would probably recognize that as like some of the type of art that was the opening scene. I first got into his stuff. A lot of paperback book covers that I enjoyed over the years. So this is Mr. Gorey talking about himself and his life. So, good book, worth having. The next thing is Balthus, in his own words. Thin little thing. Asseline Publishers. Balthus, in his own words, a conversation with Christina Carrillo de Albornoz, Asseline, Paris, 2001. And then it was also published in New York in 2001. So, amply illustrated. And the artist's work. See if I can do that with a little bit less of a glare. Interesting little book, quick read. The artist and his wife, and right next to it is their house. So if you're into Balthus, that would be something. Next thing here is a movie book. Francis Truffaut, The Complete Films, another Taskin book. I'm a big fan of theirs. And there he is. This was a little French flat, which makes sense for Truffaut. Francis Truffaut, film author, 1932, 1984. Robert Ingram, Paul Duncans are editors. And this is 2008. So it's sort of a history of him and his films. So Truffaut. This next book was a gift given to me. Art in the White House, A Nation's Pride. William Kloss. White House Historical Association. And this was the second edition of 2008. Here's the title page. Beautifully done, Danny. Like I say, I was given it as a gift. Next fella is an Abrams book, My Adventures as an Illustrator by Norman Rockwell. Harry and Abrams Publishers, New York, 1988. By Norman Rockwell, as told to Tom Rockwell, with a forward and afterward by Tom Rockwell. There's the illustrator at work. So he's basically talking about his life and his work and his influences. And most people will recognize his art. This next one here is Maine, where I spent a lot of my life. Lakes. Photographs by Christopher Barnes. Text by Sarah Silesbright. Beautiful cover. This was Tilbury House Publishers, Gardner, Maine. We've seen that publisher before. They did one of the maritime books I have. And it's part of the Maine Lakes Conservancy Institute in Noblesboro, Maine. and this was published in 2002. It's a book of photography. Next one is Art Criticism, essays by John Updike, still looking, Essays on American Art. This is Alfred Knopf, New York, 2005. Just to give you an idea how it's pretty nicely illustrated, color illustrations. So in here we have, just give a few examples. Jackson Pollock is covered, Edward Hopper, Alfred Stieglitz, Thomas Eakins, John Singleton Copley, Andy Warhol. Another Taskin book, again I've said I've liked these. Men's Adventure, about the Men's Adventure magazines. One of these Taskin 25. A little dramatic art here. This was Men's Adventure magazines in post-war America. The Rich Olberg collection, text by Max Allan Collins, who wrote To Perdition and some hard-case crime books. And George Hagenauer with an essay by Stephen Heller. So these reproduction of the ultra-dramatic art on men's magazines. Let's make sure they're all. There you go. Okay, so we mentioned Botero earlier. I went to a show of his artwork at the Naples, Florida, their Museum of Art. This is another Taskin book, French Flap. Fernando Botero by Mariana Heinstein. Let's see, this is 2007. And there's the artist on the inside there. Absolutely love his stuff. I get a kick out of it. So good book. Next one. Mystery writer Tony Hillerman did a book on landscapes. So it's Tony Hillerman's landscape On the Road with Chi and Leaphorn, which were the characters in his mystery series sent out on Navajo Reservation. Ann Hillerman, photographs by Don Strell. Let's see if I can get the page here. So this is published by Harper, and it is 2009. Maybe an idea some of that Great American. Oh, there's a cover of a Tony Hillerman novel with the characters, and then a picture of some landscape. They do the same thing again here. A fun book. And because of where I live, you gotta always have Robert Frost, and I've got plenty. This is by Betsy and Tom Melvin. Robert Frost Country, forward by William Meredith. Doubleday and Company, Garden City, New York, but 1977. There's Robert Frost. So another book of photographs. Then more photography, Ansel Adams and the Photographers of the American West by Ava Weber. So I spent a long time out west on a piece of paper with nothing written on it. And I just love the American West. J.G. Press, published by World Publications Group Incorporated, 2002. Design copyright 2002 by Ziga Design. Oh, these are just marvelous. There's another book about the American West, Remington and Russell, revised edition by Brian W. DeP, the Sid Richardson collection. And this is University of Texas Press, Austin, 1994. It's a softbound. And then, keeping with the theme of the American West, Louis L'Amour, Frontier, photographs by David Munch. And this, Bantam Books, the ones who published Louis L'Amour's novels. And this was 1984, so Frontier. Western landscapes. And then finally, to finish up the art shelves, slim little volume, Gorky drawings. Achille Gorky was one of the most influential American artists of the 20th century. 22 of his drawings are reproduced in this volume, all but one being published for the first time. Walker and Company, New York, 1970. They say pretty thin, but we have the that sort of thing. So that finishes up the fourth bookcase, the top shelf, and that's the art and architecture book. So, thank you, BookTube.